WWE is planning a mega push for LA Knight. Drew McIntyre has commented on his WWE future, and CM Punk has sent a legal letter to AEW. Stay tuned for the news. I think he's been one of the biggest success stories of the Triple H era is LA Knight. He's set the world on fire, quite literally. He's getting popped so loud that they're quite deafening.
Well, he's successful in one way. Like, he's really popular and everybody loves him.
That's
everybody
true.
wants him to do well. But it seems like the company just couldn't care less.
Couldn't care less until maybe now, because a report has come out saying that, you know, he's getting big pops. He's one of the top merchandise sellers for the WWE, and they're looking to give him, and I quote, a mega push. This comes from the Wrestling Observer newsletter, saying that he's expected to receive a mega push going forward due to his status as a ratings draw and his very strong merchandise sales. Reports earlier this week indicated that WWE was trying to sign Knight to a new 5-year contract.
Yeah, you'd think with a 5-year contract, that's kind of got to be the writing on the wall. We've heard Triple H say plenty enough, you know, in conferences, post pay-per-views. We know, just wait. So it's not entirely surprising. I don't know if it's going to be one of those things where, you know, given that it's a 5-year contract, it might be nice if we get like a more traditional run through a mid-card title all the way up to one of the bigger belts, but at the same time, just give him the World Heavyweight belt right now.
Yeah, right.
And it for 5 years.
It felt a bit strange that he was drafted to SmackDown, because I think a lot of people, I felt it wasn't going to happen, but a lot of people wanted it to happen in a sense that he would then be in that tournament to crown the new World Heavyweight Champion. Yeah. But I think they were quite smart not doing that, because it's allowed him to continue to build and not be cut off by a big loss.
I think if he'd gone in and won it as well, I mean, the only way from there is down, right? So you want to kind of get as long a story and as long a build as you can, because everybody's organically behind him anyway.
Right. And he's currently viewed as the, you know, top baby face on SmackDown. That was what the reports were saying earlier in the week. And it's really cool to see that he's gone from being this heel. His character has not changed. He's the same LA Knight. We just cheer him. And WWE's gone, okay, he's a top baby face. Wrestling Observer newsletter saying, you know, he's getting that mega push, and he deserves that.
We're going to sign you to a 5-year deal, but you're going to be Max Dupree again.
I mean, Sam,
that's not it.
To be fair, Sam, we sat here about a year and a half ago going, I love this Max Dupree gimmick. It's great.
To be honest, I just love the fact that he was on the main roster.
It was good fun. So I'm excited to see what he does in this mega push coming up. And another mega push currently going on is for Io Sky as WWE Women's Champion. She's set to defend to her Women's Championship, though, in 2 weeks' time against Asuka. This was confirmed on last night's SmackDown. We had a little segment at the start of the show. Tag team match. Asuka kind of got involved, ruined it for Damage Control, and then it was confirmed later in the night after Io and Asuka came face to face. It was confirmed that she'll defend the title next week. Do you think this is the end of the road for Io as women's champ?
I kind of hope not. I think Asuka's a very formidable opponent, of course. A big shock TV title change is always good as well. But I'd kind of like to see Io carry it a little bit longer, to be honest.
It feels like the reign is just getting started. Where it has. It was only a few weeks ago that she won the belt. But I quite like what WWE's been doing with these title matches on TV. We saw one ahead of Money in the Bank. I was there in person for that one. We've seen some US titles on the line, Intercontinental just this past week. What an incredible match between Gunther and Chad Gable.
I think that it's one of those things that where it's good we're seeing a lot more of it. It's something when I think back to wrestling, you know, I'd watch as a kid. There was a lot of titles on TV. It always felt special. It always felt like, you know, you have to watch the match because you never know. But at the same time, it's one of those things where I think it just... with it feeling so organic in the way they're doing it, I think that's the best route.
And especially if they give the title a spotlight in the main event and don't just go, here it is in the middle of the show.
Like before a random 40-minute segment.
Exactly. Yeah. And they've been quite good with it. You know, Bianca defended it in the main event on SmackDown a couple times, you know, and it looks like Io's going to be doing the same here against Asuka. I think Io's still got this one. But staying with WWE just now, Drew McIntyre has been speaking to the Hindustan Times. What's he been saying, Sam?
So, Drew was sort of asked about, you know, himself and WWE and his future, and he said, the internet keeps talking about my future, I guess, but my focus is on the here and now. I don't plan to be anywhere else. That's as much as I can give. And now Drew's contract has been subject to a lot of speculation over the summer months about where he would end up, ultimately returning to WWE at Money in the Bank, but there was a lot of talk, a lot of conjecture that he could maybe pop up in AEW, of course, maybe make a return to Impact, where he went on an absolute tear before returning to WWE. But I think, it sort of It makes sense in the way that, he's Drew McIntyre, right? He through WrestleMania during lockdown, he had that huge moment. It feels like we're not quite done with Drew yet. It feels like there's something more left to do for Drew.
He's still quite young. There's still more things. That, as you mentioned, that win at WrestleMania, his entire WWE title reign was without fans.
Behind closed doors,
It was behind closed doors. It feels like it was a missed opportunity. So I'm glad he's sticking around for now. He's not confirmed whether he's signed a new contract yet. We know that he was off for a little while, so that's added on.
Well, I think there's one thing that we could maybe see Drew do. If we look toward the next story.
One thing could possibly be against a man who's even taller than he is.
Exactly. How's he going to do it?
How's he going to do it? How's he going to get him over the top rope? But it's the Great Khali appearing on the WWE Superstar Spectacle. Great Khali spoke in the ring and said that despite his last match coming at the Greatest Royal Rumble in 2018, he still has one match left in him.
He's going to job Drew out and Drew go.
Yep. That's
well, if you look to the Indian fans yesterday chanting CM Punk violently throughout the evening, I think that you bring in Punk,
money on the table.
You put him up against Khali in a big long build, like a year-long build, and then you have Khali just go whoop and then put his foot on his chest.
Hey, they had that moment at the 2010 Royal Rumble. There's history there, so we could do it. I think I'm interested to see if WWE actually picks him up and goes, okay, we're going to have one more match. You would assume that they would have advertised his one more match for that show.
Well, no, I think it's one of those things where you can tease it. There's a potential to use a much bigger venue, a much bigger situation for Khali, I think, in India. WWE is sort of rolling through with this global localization thing on all fronts now, not just NXT, where we've had shows over here now. There's potential for shows places like France, Germany, like big mega shows. Of course, India as a market. We've already seen some large shows in Japan in WWE's past. So I think that it makes sense that maybe you save that, you put a pin in it, you then book a really, really, really big stadium, venue. And then you have Khali come out.
Who would you have him face in his last match?
Ooh,
in his last match ever. I think you bring Shawn Michaels out of retirement.
You bring Shawn Michaels. I think he's got to put over a new talent.
Jinder Mahal. Just Shanky.
Nah, maybe Shanky. I think Shanky's a better shout than Jinder because Jinder's already been all the way at the top, right?
Yeah, that's true. But we didn't get enough of Jinder. Nobody can hinder Jinder. And we need him back as WWE champion. But the future is bright for the Great Khali, apparently. He's a WWE Hall of Famer, of course. I'm going to move over to AEW just now. You were at All In, Sam. Did you enjoy All In?
Yeah, it was good.
Well, there were some scrap plans for people.
Well, I'm upset now then. Why didn't I get the plans that were scrapped?
It's not what you think.
Is it because London's not good enough, Tony?
That's exactly it. It's because HBO Max wasn't good enough. Per a report from Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, All In was initially set to air on the streaming platform Max, but instead was presented obviously as a traditional pay-per-view. This is because the technology wasn't ready at the time. So it looked like we were going to get a new way to watch AEW pay-per-views, but Max kind of just couldn't get it ready for the big show, which is a real shame. We know that AEW held off for as long as possible on announcing whether it's a pay-per-view, whether it's free to air, whatever. And it looks like that's kind of what happened. Reports from Bloomberg have suggested that Max will soon air live sports with basketball, baseball, and hockey coverage believed to be starting on the platform soon. It's further believed that an introductory run in the service, Max will introduce additional sports, prompting speculation that could be where AEW ends up. We know they've got big deals coming up for TV rights.
Well, that kind of suggests that the technology is now in place. It's a lot better, and I like Fight, but every single way to watch AEW right now feels a little bit fraught with issues in certain ways. Like sometimes the streams don't work properly, and sometimes it's a little bit kind of it stop-start. But I think with a partner like Max, you're getting that kind of guaranteed quality there, and I think it's something that it's just a central hub. It's a lot easier to get to, and if you've got the back catalogue of stuff on there as well, you're laughing.
It'll be intriguing to see how that affects the UK rights as well. Obviously, Max is a big stream platform in the United States. Over here, that's kind of part of Sky Go and Now TV. So whether that is kind of where AEW will end up on pay-per-view.
AEW also kind of partnered with ITV over here, so it could just be some
little grey areas around that. But it's interesting. I think that would have drawn on a lot more viewers, and it already did an insane number of viewers did All In. But sticking with AEW, we're going to round out just now with some CM Punk news, because of course we've got to include some CM Punk news. We've got some further details about why the Elite rejected the meeting, and it's been revealed by Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It was reported the Elite turned down squashing their issues with Punk because of the weekly issues they saw with the likes of Christopher Daniels, Ryan Nemeth, and all those people being banned from Collision. Further issues arose then during the summer, where CM Punk sent a legal letter to AEW because of a sketch on being the Elite.
Yeah, so apparently there's some form of non-disclosure agreement to not speak publicly about CM Punk around this time. The claim revolved around a BTE skit, as you said, with Matt Jackson apparently referencing the fact he'd secured a deal but screwed it up and left the rest of the Elite broke. The faction was shown asking Matt to apologize for screwing up. CM Punk's name wasn't mentioned during the skit, but CM Punk watches being the Elite. Or he has somebody watching it for him.
He's got someone watching
sending him notes like Finkel used to do with the dirt sheets back in the day for the locker room. He'd just collect them all, get all the juiciest bits and go, this is what they're saying about you.
All the timestamps. I think this is a bit of a reach. We know he sent a legal letter to AEW as per that report there, but I think it's a bit of a reach from CM Punk to say that was about him.
Yeah.
From what I understand, that was a long-running joke on being the Elite. Maybe there's more to it that we don't know.
Possibly,
He just feels a bit like there was something he was trying to take a shot, and that was an easy.
This entire saga is so far from over. There's going to be so many twists and turns, I think, as we start entering these weird phases of just back and forth. And I feel like there's maybe more legal stuff on the horizon potentially. Nobody really knows at this point.
We've still not heard from CM Punk, and I'm sure we will get that at some point soon. But that's all we have for you just now. We will be back later on with more wrestling news. Stay tuned at the channel for all the wrestling content. We've got the podcast on the channel now, so go and check that one out. And in the meantime, go and get yourself a coffee. We'll see you later.